All right, it's going to be a little bit until the rest of the pizza's done, so I think we'll go ahead and get started. That way we can get you out of here in good order. So I want to start out with just having Emmett, John, and Pete say just a little bit before I get started. So I'm going to go ahead and give the mic to, looks like Emmett's ready. He's standing up, so he's going to get the mic.
We want to thank everyone for. Is this working?
Nope. Yeah, you got to hold it close to your mouth.
I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. We really appreciate it. This whole process started over 2 years ago, the whole merger process. There were a lot of highs in the last 2 years and a few lows. I think the one question that probably all three managers were asked was, is this good? Is this what we should vote yes? Questions like that. I think the standard.
Good on it.
Just talk loud.
Okay, we'll try it. We'll try it again. There we go. Okay, I figured out. So 2 years ago, we started this process. There's been a lot of highs, few lows. It was a long process. Again, the question that was asked, I think, of every manager here was, is this good for the co-ops? And the answer unequivocally is yes. The face of agriculture is changing. You people in agronomy know more about that than I do. The face of co-op business is changing. This was a great move with three good, solid companies. I think you're going to find as we move forward, everything is just going to get better. So again, thanks for all your support, and we'll turn it over to John.
So what's the trick?
You talk right into it, yeah, just like an ice cream bill.
Might get a good shock that way.
I don't think that'd be a good thing. I'd also like to welcome everyone here. How about a hoorah for A+? Wasn't too bad, a little bit would be, but let's try it a different way. A big hoorah for everyone that answered the phone wrong today. Don't worry, we weren't counting. And the ones that did get it right screwed up the customers pretty good too. But that's the way it goes. The merger process was a long process, and along the way, there was one thing that we heard from quite a few different sources, and that was the biggest problem that the mergers usually run into is the us and them attitude with the employees. And if we can beat that or stomp it out, we'll be able to do real good going forward. And to help with that, one thing that I was worried about as far as that was concerned was starting with our board members. I figured that there would probably be some of the us and them attitude that would come from the board and the fellow employees also. But once the board got together, after the votes were final, that board completely gelled together, and they have absolutely made no decision without it being a unanimous decision. And I thought, that is unbelievable. I could not believe it. I did not expect that. Because we got 9 members on the board, 3 from each co-op. And one of the biggest decisions that they made that was unanimous was picking Todd Ludwig to be your leader. And I've been working with Todd the last few weeks, and I think they made a hell of a good choice for whatever that's worth. I think he's going to do an awful good job for us and coaching us and lead us into the direction of a very, very bright future. And we're glad to have each and every one of you aboard. There's going to be a lot of bumps to get worked out for a little while, but once we do, the sky's the limit. So thank you again and welcome to be aboard. I'll turn it over to Pete.
Thanks, John. Who are we? Who are we? Great, that's great to hear. You're taking a look at 3 really good companies that have gotten together, and it's been a lot of hard work. There's been a lot of decisions that have been made, some not so much fun, some a lot of fun. There were some primary reasons why we did the merger, and it starts off with one of them being obtaining critical mass to help spread out the cost for our value-added services. We're in service to our patrons. That's what we do. Then we wanted to maintain some relevance in our core business groups. Third thing was provide employee development opportunities. Folks, there's opportunities you can't believe. There's a ton of them. Allow and adopt the best technologies. All the stuff that's coming up, it's fantastic. It's exciting. It really is exciting. Then finally, enhance some profitability. That's all part of it too. And then secure our patron equity. It's all about part of doing business. So if you think about the reasons we did the merger, it's about you folks. Your board, your general managers, your patrons find you very important. You're the most critical asset in the company. And they see that value. And they know the only way that they could bring a company that helped improve your opportunities was to come together. When you pass a vote by 66 2/3%, that is a majority. That's phenomenal. You folks are involved in probably the 2 of the greatest industries in the country. If you think about it, at least I am very proud of it. Ag's my bag. It really is. Think about food production, and you think about energy. What 2 more important things in our world that anybody can be involved in, and it'd be this much fun. It's fun. It's exciting. There's lots of opportunities. There's going to be avenues of career development. There's going to be a lot of fulfillment. I'm excited for the whole thing. I really am. I can't say enough about all the fun things that will come up, and all of the things that you'll be able to see, all the things that are exciting and coming on. It's amazing. It really is amazing. And as 3 companies into one, it gives us that tremendous opportunity to take advantage of that. With that, thank you for your time. Enjoy the supper, and I'll turn it over to Todd.
Thanks, gentlemen. Now I get use ice cream cone for the rest of the evening. What I wanted tonight was to not stand up here and preach. But the group's a little too big for a circle to sit around. But I'm going to kind of mingle a little bit as I talk, because if there's interaction, I want that to happen. I don't want to have you feel like I'm up here preaching to you. This is a conversation. I just want to have a town hall meeting, conversation. Share a little bit about what's going on, some of my thoughts. Pete talked about some things I'm going to double up a little bit on. So feel comfortable, finish eating. If you need something else to drink, by all means, do that. If you need a restroom, go ahead and do that. So, you know, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be here tonight. I'm excited to be part of Ag Plus. It's a great opportunity for the patrons, for employees, and it's a wonderful place to be in agriculture. You know, there's always going to be a need for food and cycles. Right now, I'm getting too far away probably. Yeah, more too far from there probably. You know, ag is going to cycle. It's a cyclical business. Right now we're in some times that are a little tougher, right? 4 or 5 years ago was pretty good. It'll be good again. You know, I know there's a lot of excitement that I talk about, but I know there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of questions. Lots of change, right? You know, I understand that, we understand that. We're trying to get things in place as quickly as we can to give you answers and to let you know how it's going to be. But I would share with you that for most of you, probably 90%, not much is going to change. You're going to continue to do the same great job that you've always done. Maybe you got a different supervisor, you know, but changes for the vast majority are going to be pretty slim. We are bringing through 3 cultures together. So what that means is everybody's going to have to change a little bit. You know, it was alluded to earlier, it's not we and they, it's going to be us. But we're going to try to take the best from all 3 cultures. And so that means if you do that, everybody's got to expect some change. Change is, you know, the only time change is good is if you're the one making it. That's the only time you like it, right? So, you just got to bear with that and we'll get through it. A little bit about myself. I grew up in a relatively small town in Morris, Minnesota. My dad was a school teacher. My mom was an administrative assistant. Had 3 brothers. My grandfather ran a local cooperative for many years. Had a couple uncles in the business. After college, I went to work for ConAgra on a management trainee position. Lived in Minneapolis, North Dakota, back to Minneapolis, Iowa, and then I went out to Michigan for 6 years. So I spent about a little over 8 years with ConAgra. Moved back to Minnesota and went to work for Senex Land O'Lakes Agronomy as a business service manager. So I worked with local co-ops, board of directors, and then I was asked to move up to the cities with Senex, and I did some business development and ran some of their company-owned facilities. And then the merger with Senex and Harbor Estates happened, and so I went to work for the country operations group and had kind of their eastern region, so I had locations that reported to me in South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, and Minnesota. And then I went into their finance group and spent a couple of years there. And then in 2008, I went down to the co-op WFS and spent about just short of 10 years there. And then I guess July 8th of this year, joined Ag Plus. So that's a little bit about my career history. I've had a chance to work in pretty much all aspects of ag business. I've had all the enterprises that we have here at Ag Plus I've had some experience with. On a more personal side, been where my wife Heather and I currently live in Alexandria, Minnesota. We're looking for a house down here, so we're going through that fun stuff. We have no children, we have one spoiled dog. So we're anxious to move down here and get settled. I want to talk a little bit about, you know, one of the questions out there is reporting and structure. You know, what's it going to look like? So, you know, we're going to have a controller at Ag Plus, and, you know, I've already named Angie to that. There was an announcement that came out. On the agronomy division, John Head is going to lead that group. And then I'm going to have a human resources person, and that position is open. I have not named anybody yet. There'll be a safety position, that's open. There'll be an energy position that entails bulk fuels, bulk lubricants, probably bulk def and propane. And then I'm going to have a service business division, and that will entail the, if I forget something, please, still learning everything around. That would entail C-stores, parts stores, shops, small engines, crane equipment, all those heating and cooling, kind of all those, the U-Haul, all those kind of service type businesses. And so those last positions I all talked about are still open. I'm working on getting those filled as quickly as I can, getting close. Hopefully by next week, we'll be able to do some announcements and get those determined. So people get in those places and we can start to get answers to everyone else. One of the things that's going to be very important here at Eggs Plus is safety. I want to build a very strong safety culture. I'll tell you that I'm going to be relentless about that. Why am I so concerned about safety? There's two reasons, really. One, everybody else, you know that people get injured or hurt, financially the impacts go up. But the real big reason is, I want to send everybody home every single day with all their toes and fingers and their legs. And so that's why it's going to be actually just absolutely critical we spend and focus a lot of time on safety. I've just seen too many accidents happen that could be prevented, and it's not good for people or their families. So that's going to be a very important thing going forward. Accounting systems. We had 3 different accounting systems in the companies that are coming together. So we're working to determine which system we're going to end up with. And again, that's a decision that we're getting close to being made, but we're working hard on that. Starting to get loud at the bar. I'm going to have competition pretty soon. All right, next thing to talk a little bit about are benefits. And I'm going to go back up here to the table and stand so I can lay these down and make sure I can see them. All right, so we're going to start with vacation. And I know I'm just kind of going through these a little bit because it might be slightly changed for everybody, for some people at least. So eligible regularly full-time employees with completed 30 days of employment. If you have less than 1 year service, I might even need to get my glasses, it's going to be 10 days. 1 to 6 years of service, 12 days. 7 to 15 years is 17 days, and 16 plus years is 22 days. So that's going to be on an accrual method, meaning that it'll be earned as you work. Now that's different for some of you. Some of you are used to getting vacation, all of it, the first day of the year. And I also want to stop to talk about the first day of the year, because we had different fiscal year ends at different companies. Some of you were December year end. The fiscal year end for Egg Plus will be August 1st to July 31. So when we talk about year ends, on a fiscal standpoint, that's what we're talking about. So everything that we kind of talk about at Egg Plus is a fiscal year end, which runs from August 1st to July 31st. So you're going to accrue those vacations every month that you work. Now, there are people that have vacation out there. What we're going to do is allow you to carry 15 days of vacation from 1 year to the next. This first year, though, you have a full year to use any vacation you have accrued as of today, plus what you accrue going forward. So an example is, let's say today that you have 10 days of vacation that you haven't used yet. You carry that in, so you got to start with those 10 days, and then every month you're going to add to that. And so by the end of July 31 of 2020, you have to have those vacation days that you have banked down to 15. And then you can carry 15 in 2021. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Eligible regulated part-time employees who have completed 6 months of continuous employment and worked 60 to 79 hours per period will accrue 1.36 hours per pay period in the first year of service and 2.72 hours per pay period after the first year of service.
Is there sick time too?
Yes, and we're talking about sick days. All right, sick leave.
Hey, Todd, we got a question on vacation.
Yeah, question on vacation.
You got it broke down into years of service. Is
Yes.
that the years that we have previously worked